Alrighty, welcome back. Another follow-up video. This is on this 447 HPC2 that came in, again, as you saw in the previous video, with a volume issue. It ended up being the volume switch. So we changed that out. This is the old one right here. Okay. If you're going to attempt to do this yourself, unless you got, some real good soldering skills, and desoldering skills is really the important thing when it comes to these. I wouldn't suggest it, because it's a bear to get it done. So the problem is, I'll try to explain it to you real quick, just so you understand what I'm saying, because I know a lot of people probably thinking, oh, no problem, I can do it myself. So let's just say that, like, this is the board that the switch is soldered on, okay? And what's that got? It's got 8 holes, and it's got 8 pins on the switch. So just each one of those pins goes through a hole, and not even in the camera. Okay, so each one of those pins goes through a hole. There's 8 of them, and on top, on the top and bottom of each one of those, if you drew it out like this with the holes, okay, those are soldering pads, each one. There's one on the bottom and there's one on the top, and in between is also not a soldering pad, but it's it's copper in between, so the solder can wicks down through, and it ends up on the bottom pad a little bit. I know they don't try to do that on purpose, but it's just the way it works. So when you go to desolder this, you desolder it, everything looks good, and it won't come out. You have to really, really, really work at it. And it takes time and patience to get each one of those holes clear and get those bottom pads where you can get the solder sucked up out of there. So if you're going to attempt it yourself, again, I wouldn't recommend it, because it can be a bitch, and you take the chances of damaging the board, and then that just opens another can of worms, either for yourself, or we throw it back together and send it to a shop like mine. Now then I have to deal with it. So anyway, I'm not trying to tell you to send your radio here if it has a problem, but you really need to send it somewhere where somebody can do the work properly. That's just the way it is. Anyway, we've got it all set. We've got it on a signal going into it on the receive, and if you saw in the previous video, if you wiggled the volume knob, it would increase and decrease in volume. At one point, with the volume all the way down, it was 3/4 volume. So it took it took turning the volume knob all the way up to 2 or 3 o'clock before it started increasing again. So from from the 0 position up to over 3/4 was the same volume. But we've got that now. That's 0 volume. Wiggle the switch. All these switches have a little play in them. It drives me crazy. I wish they were more solid, but they're not. They all have a little wobble to them, but again, nature of the beast. Anyway, it's working good. Like I said before, these are a monster of a little radio. I love these little things. They are they really can talk very well. Like I said, I run one in my mobile, and I can talk skip on it all the time. It's a challenge, but I can get it done. And as far as I'm concerned, I'd rather do more with less. So that's just my way of doing it. I don't need I don't need all that power. I'd rather do it with a little bit of power and get the same job done. So I did not have to retune this radio. Everything was really good on it. I didn't touch a thing. All I did was change out the volume switch, and she's ready to rock and roll. But I will show you, what she's doing real quick. With a tone on the tone generator. So I'm just going to show you, where are we? High power. Turn the talk back down. On high power. Okay. With a tone. Coming in nice and clean, and well over 100% modulation. These things are modulating monsters, I guess you could call them, for the size of the radio and everything. They really are a really nice radio, and they sound awesome. Everybody I know that's got one loves them, and they really sound well. Try to get it up here on the. What are we running? The 100-watt scale. So this one was set up with about a 8-watt dead key. All right, hello audio. Check. Breaker. Right up there, 75 watts, nice and clean. Audio check. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay. They are a good talking radio. I'm very impressed with this little radio. The only downfall, I'll be right up front with you. The only downfall, if you've got large hands, okay. Let me get back to the radio. If you've got large hands, you may not like how tight everything is on the faceplate. So it's a little challenging to get your fingers in there. To adjust, but most of the time, depending on how you run your radio, the way I run my radio, I run squelch all the way down, except on days like today when the skip was rolling really hard. You have to kind of use your RF gain all the way down and you squelch up a little bit to get rid of it. But the way I run my radio, squelch down, and then I use my RF gain to adjust the noise level when possible. So once you get your echo set, your talkback set the way you want it, the power set where you want it, really, once you turn the radio on, the way I do it, the only knob you got to touch is your RF gain. Like I said, when it's real noisy, you might have to turn your squelch up. So that's really the only downfall to this little radio, is that if you have, if you got sausage fingers, and I'm not far from that, but there's guys that have bigger hands might not like the small faceplate on the radio. That would be the only downfall. But they do talk very well barefoot. A good little radio. So anyway, that's it for that one. Like I said, if you need this done, you'd be more than welcome to get a hold of me. We can take care of it for you. But again, I'm going to stress that this is not a project that you just want to tackle with your little solder sucker and a soldering iron, because you're gonna probably be disappointed in the results that you get, and then all you're gonna do is just end up sending it somewhere else and sending somebody a bigger project than what it could have been. So anyway, that's it. Stryker 447 HPC2. Good little radio. Volume's all set, and she's ready to rock and roll. So thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one.